Wow. Welcome to season 4. You want to talk about pressure? Try interviewing a legend. Try interviewing your hero. Pressure's on me today because Jeff Kinzbach is next. And the heat is on. Let's get cooking. This is Purpose Under Pressure, sharing stories of why we're here, how we fight to make it happen. We are starting the 4th season today, and we're going to start it with a bang. I'm really excited to welcome back my friends, our partners, Sandler by the Ruby Group, Mike Jones, Ken Guest, Jordan Mullet. The whole team there has been supportive of this program since it began a full year ago. As we head into season 4, they are on board again. And so if you are a seller or you're a business looking to increase revenue or sales, Sandler by the Ruby Group is going to help you out with that. You can check them out online at therubygroup.sandler.com. So this is episode 1 of season 4. Let's do something special. Let me tell you a little bit about me, just this much. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a DJ, and I grew up in Northern Ohio, and one of the biggest motivators for me, I went to school every day listening to WMMS, the Buzzard 100.7. Man, they kicked ass. It was so cool. I loved Kid Leo, Matt the Cat, and every morning, and I mean every morning, I listened to Jeff and Flash. And I am excited for you to meet my new friend, Jeff Kinzbach, formerly of WMMS, now traveling the world in his RV with his wife, Patty, and rocking the RV Life podcast. Jeff Kinzbach, welcome to Purpose Under Pressure.
Well, I appreciate the invite. I really do. And, I won't rub it in, but I'm in Palm Springs, California. And, that kind of works for us in the wintertime.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we're looking out the window right now. It's as we're recording this, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and it's just miserable here.
Yeah.
So in case you've got room in your RV, I'll climb in.
Well, that was part of the reason for me leaving my wife and myself. We just got tired of, the long winters, and it was like 30 and 40 degrees and cloudy all the time. And maybe drizzly. So we decided to start chasing 70 degrees. And that's what we do. So far, so good. There's no nirvana. There's no perfect life or anything like that. But for us, this works pretty well.
You make it what it is, don't you? I mean, you were in a pressure-packed world for a long time during your life, and now you're kind of not, right? Is that a hard switch for you?
No, actually, it's a welcome switch. I knew over the years that, the stress and the responsibility of, providing ratings on a regular basis, I knew that I had to let a lot of that go because it's not good for you health-wise. I mean, it was really a lot of fun at the time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we really enjoyed being under pressure and performing and prepping. I think preparation is probably the biggest part of it. And if you're prepared, you're a little bit more confident. But, we always love to win. And I am the type of person that I don't like to lose. I don't like to come in second. I don't like wasting my time. In other words, if I'm going to go in and do something, I'm going to make damn sure that it's the best that I can possibly do. Because like I say, I don't want to waste my time and I want to win. So, that's kind of the attitude we had. And that's always been the attitude that I've had. And eventually when I retired, it felt great. It was like, you know what? I don't have to keep up with the magazines. I don't have to keep up with who's marrying who or any of that stuff. And I just go and live my life. And you know what? There's a real high end of that.
And so let's go back to those days and let's dive right into the pressure, because I've got this much experience in radio and you've got that much experience, but we both know that it is pressure packed, and you lived through Cleveland, one of the biggest markets, at least back then, in broadcasting, and you were putting it on top. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I'm interested. Every morning when you were on, it sounded easy. It sounded fresh. It sounded unrehearsed.
Right.
And yet there's a lot that goes into it. Talk to me a little bit about the pressure of putting on a show like that to accomplish the win, like you stated.
Well, it's a tactical plan. I mean, you have to really sit down and talk to yourself, talk to your partner, talk to all the people that are going to contribute with you, and plan exactly, what you want to do, what demographic you want to grab, how you're going to execute things, the attitude of doing it. And our attitude was always, pretty laid back, but also kind of off the cuff. Now, I would have 5 pages of show preparation in front of me, and I always knew that I could depend on that and go with that if I had to. But I also gave me the freedom to just kind of, take an idea, dance around it, and say whatever you want to say about it, and just have fun with it. So we always had this. I guess it was the party atmosphere. We were the party kings. And, for a while when we were younger, we were. But as responsibility grew and as we got older, we realized that, you just can't do some of that stuff that you used to do when you were younger. Yeah. And it became a very serious venture. But we were so well ingrained in it that we were able to, maintain that attitude. You'd think we were in clubs every night, partying, having a great old time and enjoying things, when the truth of the matter is we went to bed early. We were well prepped, got up early, got our butts into that studio and sat down and said, okay, what are we going to do today? Well, here's the plan. And being able to change on a moment's notice too. Like if there was a major death, if there was a major incident or whatever, you just took the ball and ran with it. So that was basically what we did.
How many years did you do the show at WMMS with Flash?
21 years.
21 years. And so the question I have when it comes to pressure and purpose, you're going to do the very best show you can do. It's 5 days a week, right? It's at 6 in the morning.
Right.
How do you keep that fresh? How do you keep every single show sounding like it's your best show? I know that's what you want. I know that was your purpose. How do you do that over 21 years? I mean, how does Bruce Springsteen sing Born to Run every single night? On and on.
You would swear, and a lot of these musicians are just incredible, that you feel this is the first time that, I've ever heard this, or this is the first time you actually perform this. And that's the key. I mean,
that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to make it sound like, it's very special for the listener. And I always envisioned one listener. I'm talking to one person. And, you hear people get on the radio. Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
It's more like, hello, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, that's right.
I hope you're doing well. Hope you have that cup of coffee in your hand, whatever. But, something friendly, something nice. And that's what I always envisioned. But there was a lot of pressure. I mean, you talk about pressure and, pressure to perform. When we first started WMMS, there was no pressure. It was a progressive rock station. You could play what you want. And we all got along really well and talked amongst ourselves. And, it just worked out really well. But as the radio station grew in popularity, more and more the company, the corporation, wanted to get their claws on it. So oh no, we want to get credit for this, or oh, we have an idea, you should do this. Well, I'm sorry, but your idea sucks. You have no idea what 20-year-olds want. So I had a deal. Eventually, we went from just having a program director to having a program director, a national program director.
Oh, man.
A consultant.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah. And, probably maybe 2 more deep as well. And it was difficult because somebody always had an opinion. Somebody always was trying to tell you what to do. And you knew what your audience was. I mean, we grew up with our audience. We were the same, age as our audience. We knew what people wanted. And you would get a lot of this outside pressure. So sometimes you had to deal with it. Sometimes you had to bend and, be kind of diplomatic and, integrate some of the things that they wanted. But we would take a lot of their ideas and change them around so that they really fit our audience better. And So yeah, after a while, there was a lot of pressure, from a lot of outside sources, and it's really difficult to give them any credibility because they're not from your area. They're not from Northeast Ohio. They're not from Cleveland, and they're trying to tell you, "Oh, this worked in Las Vegas." Well, we're not Las Vegas. The
Far
music
from it.
the music is different, and the whole basic rule that I have for radio is the same thing it is with real estate. With real estate, it's location, location, location. Then the basic rules in radio, local, local, local. So,
Jeff, and that's what this show is kind of about. It's called Purpose Under Pressure for a reason. It's about holding on to what is true to you and what you're trying to do with your life, even though there's storms come along that try to knock you off your path. And a lot of times we take the easy route and we say, yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I know that's not probably how it always went with you. Were there times when the consultant and the program director and the program director's program director fought so hard that it actually changed you in some way, or were you able to stand up to that? Can you give me an example of when heads collided and one of you was going to win, one of you was going to lose? Any remembrance of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of incidents that occurred, and most of the time we would win the battles. Sometimes you'd lose the war, but and the truth of the matter is you are working for somebody. It is somebody's company, and
it's a business.
Yeah, it is a business, and it has to make money. But we were making good money, and things were going well. I would say probably one of the biggest fights that I had was when they started to change the music. And what they did is they instituted a playlist. And I can understand playlists, but I like playlists that, are more than 200 songs or, whatever the
7
case
songs
is.
every couple of hours. Yep, I remember.
Right. But then they decided to go after a whole new audience, and I really question the reason why. I think I really understand that reason, but I don't want to say it here. The thing is, they changed the music. They made it more pop, more top 40. And our audience wasn't used to that. And our audience didn't want it. And that was one of the biggest fights I had. And I still, to this day, say that's what killed that radio station.
Yep. Yeah. And how does that make you feel, knowing that radio station was your baby? And you, and we talked a little bit before, you were responsible for a lot of the success that WMMS and the Buzzard had. You were kind of the face of the Buzzard.
Right. I think that.
And now MMS is what it is. How does that make you feel?
I think basically that we could have continued that radio station, well into, maybe 2015, 2020, who knows? Maybe I could have retired from that radio station if they would have done it right.
Yeah.
But you got so many cooks in the broth, a lot of them from out of town, and it spoiled it. It was really difficult to watch that happen. But, in a lot of cases, you couldn't do anything about it. So,
Can you give me, let's change it around a little bit, because I know the radio world is a small world and I don't want to put you anywhere you don't want to be. And I'm wondering if you can give me another example of pressure when you nailed it, like the world was falling apart and maybe behind the scenes everything was nuts. You turned on the microphone and away you went. Is there a story there?
Well, there probably are a lot of them. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but there are so many mornings that we came in and changed everything. I mean, we didn't go with our plan. There was an incident that occurred. I remember the morning that, the night before John Lennon had been killed, and we were stunned, but, we were responsible for what was going to be on that radio station that morning, and nothing else cared. It was all Beatles. It was all John Lennon. It was phone calls, so there wasn't anybody calling me up that morning and saying, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Right. No, we're going with this. And, unless you want to come down here and physically remove me, it's not going to change. But we had quite a few mornings like that, current event driven and things like that. So
Does a disc jockey, a DJ, a host of a morning show, do you know your audience enough to be what they want? Or are you yourself hoping that they will come along because of who you are? How does that balance work?
Well, that is a balance. It really is. I mean, you've got to give people what they want. You can't just go on the radio and act like you're some sort of a god and start dishing it out, because they're going to figure you out real quick.
Yeah.
And, in Cleveland, it was music. It was all about the music. They wanted new music, and they wanted things fresh, and they wanted things fun, and they wanted to have a good time. And, hey, we're going to join you. As a matter of fact, we're going to set the table. We're going to give you a ton of music. We're going to give you a ton of entertainment. We're going to give you the ability to go to the Agora or some of these shows and not pay much, and, respect your budget, and, respect your lifestyle, because it was the same thing, luckily, that we were living. So we didn't really have to fake anything. You just never, you never really considered that, because you were living the same lifestyle, the same dream.
One of the biggest problems we have as managers and leaders is sometimes we're not focusing on leading, and we end up doing it for our sales team. How do we coach our people to help them figure out what self-limiting belief that they have that's holding them back from achieving the levels of success that they know they're capable of? Help them flush out what we call their own head trash, that thing that's holding them back. So work with your team, lead by example, watch your team achieve greater levels of success, and watch your team grow, and more importantly, watch your company and your business grow.
Yeah. You're kind of coexisting and playing with each other and living off of each other. I'm interested, Jeff, now. So we're with Jeff Kinzbach on the Purpose Under Pressure show, and I'm interested in what happened next. So I'm talking to a legend for me, and I think for a lot of people, and I hope you don't mind, you're a legend in the radio world, and so is WMMS. And but then comes an end to that, and you step away from that. And I think that's part of business as well. And so I'm interested in, when you're at the top of your game, and you decide to leave, you're no longer in the public eye, you're no longer making. What is it like to walk away from something like that?
Well, that's a really good question. Recently, I sat down with a real good friend of mine, David Spiro, who was at WMMS in the early days and went on to manage Michael Stanley, Joe Walsh, and a host of other major acts. Yep. And we had this long conversation about how, when you're out on the road and you're touring and you're doing concerts and you're in front of people, and the same thing applies for radio, and you've got that immediate chemistry. When that goes away, boy, that a lot of people can't deal with it, Yeah. I was fortunate I was able to deal with it, because I guess I got into radio because I liked it. I liked the communication. I liked the sound effects. I liked theater of the mind.
Yes.
I didn't get into it to meet girls. And
it wasn't so much the ego thing. Yeah.
No, it really wasn't. So, when you take away that excitement and that adrenaline, especially with musicians, a lot of them turn to drugs. A lot of them get lonely. A lot of them are like, wow, man, on the road, I was God. And now here I'm by myself, and, that creates a lot of problems. It never created that for me. I mean, we got kicked out of there when another company bought the radio station. It had been sold like 3 times. And I kind of welcomed the ability to just go off and be myself, and have time to myself, because I can amuse myself. I love to travel, and I didn't have any problem with. I had a problem with being fired and being told that we're not going to keep the staff and all of that. It was a horrible disappointment, but as far as amusing myself, I was fine. I went out and I played golf. I traveled, just kind of took it easy, and then something else came along, which was WTAM 3WE, and that was fine, so I never really worried about that.
And what did you do with WTAM? I'm not familiar with that. I remember you when you came in with WNE and brought them back to the top. What was your role with WTAM? I'm not familiar with that.
Well, we did talk radio in the afternoon. And
sure. You were on there in the afternoon. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were on, I think it was 2 to 6.
Okay.
And, every afternoon, flashing myself. And,
Oh, I remember. That's right. I remember now. Yeah, that's right.
We were having a good time. And then they thought, okay, let's put these guys on in the morning. And I was thinking, this is perfect. We're on a 50,000 watt clear channel radio station. Well, unfortunately, the program director and the general manager thought we should just be newsmen. Now, we had a plan where we were going to do a lot of personality radio. We were going to have a lot of fun. We were going to, play some games and do some really nice bits and everything. And at the same time, talk about the news as well. And, one thing led to another. And next thing you know, we were out the door. So, all right, c'est la vie.
Why is that? Why does business get in the way of fun? Why can't people understand that fun is an okay business to have and there's plenty of money to make? Why do we get in the way of ourselves?
Well, that's a good question. And at the same time, that radio station was bought and sold at least twice, maybe 3 times when we were there for just a couple of years that we were there. And I think, they come in, they paid extraordinarily high rates for that radio station and that group. And the first thing they think about is, well, let's go in and let's cut costs. Let's take the people who are making really good money and they have 4 weeks of vacation. Let's get rid of them. And we're going to save all this money. Well, the next thing you know, the product declines and the ratings drop. And when the ratings drop, the revenue drops. Gee, we can't figure out what happened. Why did it go this way? Well, it's product. It's the product, So that's what happened.
That's what happens. And so what's happening now, Jeff? You're out on the road. You're doing this, living this RV life, rocking this RV life is the name of the podcast. You're still living your passion. The world's changed. We don't have 3 radio stations anymore. We have 1 million. And we can start our own. I've got one in my bedroom here. You've got one in your RV. Talk to me about what it's like now being Jeff Kinzbach.
Well, you know what? It's actually pretty good. I mean, I've had a rough year. I had to have a triple bypass operation, and just recently got my cataracts removed. And I'll tell you, I can see really good now.
Good.
But,
good.
But it's been a rough year for me. I'm 70. We love to travel. This was my wife's idea. She came to me. This was funny. I was at WONE and I had a really good run with WONE. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I knew that I was going to retire. So I retired at the age of 67 because Patty had just turned 65 and she could be on Medicare with me. And one thing that nowadays it's the cost of medical insurance,
That's it. If we can beat that, we'd be all right. Yep.
But she came to me prior to retiring and she said to me, when you retire, I'd like to just sell the house and get an RV and travel. I was like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm serious. Well, you can tell who wears the pants in the family because I've been traveling. No, seriously, we went out on this. We planned it as good as we possibly could and started off. And I thought, this is going to last a month. And it ended up, we're past 3 years now. And we really enjoy it. It's nice. It's a totally different life. I mean, you're not out there, you're not a big celebrity. You don't go into restaurants and get recognized or anything like that. And I kind of like that. But, we're having fun. We're seeing things that we didn't have time to see when we're in, business, when we're working our butts off and all of that. I mean, we traveled, but, you'd have a 1 week vacation window. And boy, I'll tell you, when you can just travel and go somewhere on your whim, that is a tremendous feeling. It really is. And that gets in your blood. So that's what we do.
So let's talk about that very quickly in the fact that in business, we all reach that time. We all reach that moment. We're all not going to live in an RV. but
Right.
we're all going to kind of fade off into the sunset and leave what we love behind. What would your advice be to the business owners and organization leaders that are listening now to really enjoy their retirement, to really get the most out of it?
Most important thing is to stay active. And my wife said this first. She said, you know what? She says, I just don't want to sit around and not do anything or be in a rut. And I think that is really, really important. Be active. I don't care if it's exercising, walking, hiking, playing golf, whatever the case is, keep yourself in good shape and take care of yourself and really, do things that really interest you, that are fun, that you've always wanted to do or be a part of. I think that is just totally key to keeping your life and your health. I mean, all those things are really important. You realize, I mean, like I say, I'm 70. You realize when you get up here that, there's less time. My life shortens every day. My life gets shorter every day. And, you better do some great things with it or have some fun or thoroughly enjoy it. Just don't sit on your butt. So that's what we do. And, like I say, I've never really had a big ego about things or anything like that. I mean, it's nice, having a column in the newspaper. It's nice podcasting, but, I'll be honest with you, we're going to pull back on the throttle here. And, the thing is, we just probably will, by the time you have this aired or on, we probably will have quit podcasting.
Is that right?
Yeah. We just want to.
How does that make you feel, Jeff? How does that make you feel? I know you want to relax and enjoy things a little bit. How does it make you feel to maybe put that microphone away?
I don't really have that much of an issue with it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I kind of like getting up in the morning, having my coffee and saying, okay, what do you want to see today? Do you want to go on this hike? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? And just do it, not having any kind of deadline, not having, a podcast once a week. You got a deadline. You got to keep it fresh. You got to think about it. And, the truth of the matter is we've done 107, 108 of these things. And, we got a lot of information in there. And I think we've covered it all. So I think
they'll all be online forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's time for us to kind of, fade off into the sunset a little bit here. And
so let's
just
talk about one last thing then as we kind of wrap up the show. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. I remember you as a mentor to me that you never met. And I'm sure there are many others that think of it the same way. There's probably people that think of you as the person that spun the Thin Lizzy songs every day and, and just as entertainment, that right kind of thing, right? When you look back at your impact in Cleveland, maybe in radio as in general, the things you did on morning shows that the world emulated. Howard Stern isn't probably Howard Stern unless Jeff Kinzbach does what he does first, right? It's the whole, you did these things first and you did them well. What do you think about your legacy and your impact in radio and in Cleveland and overall in the broadcasting industry?
Well, I think in 100 years, nobody's going to give a damn. But, for now, I look back and, I'm glad that we could help a lot of people. I'm glad we could entertain a lot of people. I'm glad we had the music we had and, the people that came along with it. I mean, we just, we hit it at the right time. And it was a great time to be young, to rock and roll, and just to have fun and to do good radio. I mean, I think we did a great job. I think, there's days that I would like to have back. There are, mistakes we made. I mean, we're all human, but overall, I have always liked the fact that, we didn't want to lose. We didn't want to be in second place. We wanted to do it right and do it to the best of our ability. And that, I hope, resonates. And the fact that, hey, we worked hard. We never gave up. And we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a pretty cool thing too. So
love it. Tremendous. Jeff Kinzbach, formerly of WMMS, WTAM, WONE, formerly, we say it now because this won't run until January, perhaps, of the rocking the RV life, and just a hero of mine. And if folks, if you can't tell, I'm just overwhelmed by gratitude here and appreciation for you being on the show and talking with me and sharing some stories about the old days and about, for my audience, more importantly, about overcoming the pressure and doing it right and staying true to who you are and staying true to your purpose. And so I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's my pleasure. And, just one more bit of advice. You talk about pressure. It's almost like when you're on stage and everybody in the front row is trying to get your attention and talk to you. And if you let that get to you, you've lost. The whole idea is the entire theater. So I hope that makes sense.
Play to the back row. It does make sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. That's Jeff Kinzbach, folks.
Yeah. Don't let anybody get you off your game.
I love that. I love that. And that's what you're doing now as you ride off into many, 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 many more sunrises and sunsets. You're doing it your way. And I think that's really cool. And I wish you the very best of luck in everything that you ever do. And tell your wife, Patty, thank you for sharing this time with us as well, because I know that your time together is valuable. So I really appreciate it.
All right. You take care. And I appreciate it. And stay healthy.
Folks, that's Jeff Kinzbach. That is the legendary Jeff Kinzbach of Jeff and Flash from WMMS and the morning show way back when. And man, I'm excited that he was a part of our show and our guest on Purpose Under Pressure. Again, brought to you by Sandler by the Ruby Group. Sellers are under pressure to perform. Jeff knows that. Sellers killed the radio stations, I think, sometimes. Sandler helps you succeed on purpose. You'll find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your podcasts. We do this every week. I hope it can be this good every week. Regardless, we will see you next time as season 4 kicks off of Purpose Under Pressure. We'll see you next time on Purpose.